Hey everybody, how are you doing on this fine Sunday evening?
Fred Smith, fitness instructor and podcaster, started a new business.
It was me.
There's some noise in the background. It's a hot mess already. But how are you doing tonight? Welcome to Football Miami TV. And tonight, we titled the episode, how to watch football in 2021, because we got a great guest and he has a website that kind of really helps a lot with that. But it's an open forum. I mean, we got the Euros going on, we got Inter Miami, so we could talk about anything tonight. But I don't do this alone. I always do it with our buddy Uncle Ed. Say hi, Ed.
How's it going, guys? Great to see everybody. Well, to see Peter because I can't see anybody else, but I see everybody on the chat. So this is we're pretty excited. So much to talk about. So much soccer going on, football as we call it. So Peter, let's go with it. And plus, we got the gaffer with us.
We do, and I messed up my shot there, but let's get right to it. Let's welcome in our guest, Christopher Harris. How are you doing, Christopher?
Hey guys, doing great, really, really good. Big fan of this show. Been watching it for the last couple of years, and doing really, really good. Really excited to talk to you guys.
So Christopher has a website called World Soccer Talk where, I know I use it all the time because I am one of those cord cutters that is constantly searching and looking for where to find my games. And it's on this streaming platform. It's on that streaming platform. And World Soccer Talk is like, I go to it every weekend at least to just see where are the games I want to see. So we will definitely talk a lot about that tonight. But Christopher, I mean, you've been a fan of the Miami Fusion. You've been around down here a long time, even though you've got that funny accent.
Yeah, it's funny too, because so I moved to the States in the 80s, 84. And in the late 80s, I was a Strikers fan, kind of, post NASL. Yeah. And then in the 90s, then became a Fusion fan. It was the Fusionado. Was there with Uncle Ed, and I'm sure you, Peter, at times, kind of behind the goal, just going crazy. And then for the last 17 years or so, been waiting for another MLS team to come. And then about 2 years ago, I moved to Jacksonville. So I haven't been to any Inter Miami games yet. I'm still a fan. I'm still watching all the games, but I'm having to do it from a distance. So
that explains it. We were wondering why we hadn't seen you around.
Did not realize you were in Jacksonville. I'm sorry about that. I mean, because Jacksonville.
It's better than Orlando. It's better than Disney World,
really?
Right?
I don't know.
That's
I don't
true.
know about that.
I'm with Chris on that one.
I mean, you could say Inter Miami is a more fun team to support than Orlando City, but Orlando as itself is pretty cool.
You should check out this area. It's actually pretty cool. St. Augustine, get a little bit cooler temperatures.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because this year, we did not renew our Disney annual passes, and so we were like, let's do some Florida vacations, and St. Augustine may be on that list. We may go up to St. Augustine. My daughter's been there for a school thing. We may do, so a couple Florida staycation type of trips type of thing. But hey, before we get too far into this, we have to, of course, say a big thank you to our sponsor, and that is Caneswear. So if you are interested in Inter Miami gear, this is the place to go. You want to go down to Davie or up to Davie, depending on where you are, and walk into that store. Great local stores supporting local businesses. They've got all your Miami Hurricanes and all your other sports teams, but a nice big section for Inter Miami. I know Ed was up at Caneswear recently. I know several of our viewers or listeners use Caneswear on a regular basis. One World, One Goal is constantly ordering from Caneswear on Caneswear.com. So if it's a little bit too far for you, no problem. Go to Caneswear.com and they can handle it there. So Ed, but before we go too far into talking with Chris, we do have to do our normal, usual stuff and welcome in all those people that are sitting in the chat room, hanging out and looking forward to this great conversation we're going to have.
Well, we definitely appreciate everybody following us and listening to us for, man, I just sent you a picture of we did our podcast like 10 years or something like that. And I think it was I sent you a picture of 5 years ago or something. It was show number 206 or something like that, 200 something. And I was just like, wow, we did that many? I totally forgot. But anyways, guys, let me mention everybody that's on the chat right now. Jose Velasquez, how you doing, my friend? Awesome to see you following us. Of course, we have One World, One Goal. She's always supporting us. Jazz Fusion is also on board. How you doing, Jazz? Our friend up in Atlanta, a new Wiseman, is also following us. He's checking up on the Copa America, which is actually happening right now. I believe there's a game going on right now.
Yeah, Brazil's playing Venezuela, I believe.
Yeah, so let's see how that one goes. And that's it, Peter. I don't see anybody else unless you see somebody on your.
Did you?
I'm using my phone this time.
Okay, well, I'm not sure if I heard you because I was messing with some camera stuff. I don't know if you mentioned, but One World, One Goal. I'm not sure if you mentioned her, but
of course I mentioned her.
All right,
of course.
all right. Yeah, we got a lot. Oh, Jet Pancake is in there. Marvin Mieles is in there. Am I saying it right?
Yep, that's him.
I finally got it right.
Yeah. He's also a fellow Ecuadorian, and Ecuador's playing Colombia in a little bit. So I know One World, One Goal is going to be against me because of her allegiances to Colombia, as you all know. So good luck to Colombia, but I think Ecuador's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some allegiances to Colombia as well, being that I go there a lot. Apparently, Marvin is saying that Brazil won 3-0. So.
Oh, wow.
And I've got, obviously my wife is from Brazil, so, I got to cheer for them as well. It's just part of the contract. So, got to do that. All right, so let's get back to the conversation we were starting to have with our buddy Chris. And before we go too far, I do want to play a voicemail. We normally do this a little bit later in the show, but this voicemail I've already listened to, so I already kind of know what it is. And they're welcoming Christopher to the show, so let's take a listen.
Hey, Uncle Ed and Peter and all the fantastic fans. Want to say a big welcome to Chris Harris. He's one of our favorite Fusion fans that, interestingly enough, we know from way back in the day. This is Italia. Marta, just wanted to say very, very welcome to the show. One of the great experts out there in the soccer world. Exciting to see what you do with your World Soccer Talk and many other ventures that you're into. Diego Serna 17 says, hi, we miss you all. We hope to have a big Fusion reunion either towards the end of the year or next year. We wanted to have like a 20-year game and get everyone playing who's still interested to do like some of the Fusion against some of the former MLSers and the United States men's national teams, do like a little charity thing. So we'll see when we can get that cooking. Great memories with you. And, of course, at the halftime of one of the Fusion games, Chris got engaged to Deb. That was a big highlight. And so many fantastic memories. Want to see what you're doing. Even our dear friend Ted would not be able, with a arepa stand in his house, to be able to watch like 100 games that are on in, I think there's something like 90, in the next 90 days there's 100 soccer games. Woohoo! Okay, love you guys. Love the show. Bye.
Sometimes her calls go weird at the end. Sometimes they kind of go off on a curve that I'm not sure where she's going with some of that.
100 games is what I got. 100 games.
She said 100 games. I thought she said Hunger Games at first. And I'm like, what the heck is she talking about?
Yeah, I guess you got the Euros, you got Copa America, you got the Olympics, and then you got the Gold Cup. So it's going to be nonstop from now to like the middle of August.
And let's not forget our MLS too. So yeah, lots going on. But
wait, Peter, which reminds me, there was a practice game in your favorite in your favorite town. I imagine you know the score. Inter Miami.
Inter Miami played Toronto. What was it? 3-0 Inter Miami, right?
3-0 Inter Miami.
But where was it? You said it was it in Orlando?
I think it was in Orlando.
All right.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, closed door match. It's not saying much. I know, Christopher, you said you've been following Inter Miami. It's not saying a whole lot when you beat Toronto. Toronto is not the Toronto of old. This is a new Toronto that is not so good.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what Phil Neville did as far as the team goes, though. I mean, did he try some different formations, some different players.
Well, we do know that Carranza started the game and he scored 2 goals. That's what we're hearing. So that's good news, even if it's just a friendly game against a lowly Toronto. And I say lowly because, I mean, man, Toronto's been a world beater and MLS beater. They've been really, really good for quite a while. But right now they are below us in the table. So, you know.
That's good for Carranza, though. I mean, we need a goal scorer. So, and I don't think Higuain is it. I think he's more of a number 10. So I wonder if Pizarro played this game, though.
No.
No,
I don't think so. Pizarro, I believe, from what we understand, is still with a well, I don't know if he's still with a Mexican team, but I was sent some information about Pizarro today, and that apparently, you know, we everybody's heard that Pizarro's up for sale basically for some Mexican teams, and that apparently they're willing to get rid of him for $10 million. That's the selling price. So
they're gonna lose some money on him, right?
Lose about $2 million on him. But you know, I guess
up that DP spot and look for somebody else.
I guess he doesn't fit in Neville's plans. Then I mean that's clear. If they're willing to lose a little bit of money, that he doesn't fit in Neville's plans. What do you think, Christopher? I know you followed Inter Miami some this year. What do you think the issue is with Pizarro fitting in?
I think he's not a good fit for the team in terms of his playing style, where it is very much kind of a dribbling style. It's very it slows down the game. So you've got maybe players that are in position up top, and he's just trying to dribble past 2 or 3 players and then loses the ball. So I think overall, I mean, if there's a $10 million offer, let's take it. You mean because I think it's take the money and run basically. I just don't think he's a good fit for this team at all.
Yeah, I knew Weissman is saying that he's not sure, but he doesn't remember if Pizarro played in Atlanta last night against Honduras. So
I'm not sure.
Apparently there was a game. I'm trying to find a good place for this.
I don't remember. I was a little bit off yesterday, so I actually got sick, so I didn't watch any soccer. Yeah, I had some mango. It didn't suit me too well, Peter. So
it's not mango that we gave you or anything, is it? When you were here?
No, man. Actually, as a matter of fact, you never gave us any mangoes.
No, I think we forgot. Mm-hmm. We have 2 mango trees, and I've got a refrigerator full of mangoes, and I mean they're just everywhere. But my wife's got to cut them up and put them in the freezer so they don't go bad. But okay, well, so you were a little under the weather. Well,
I didn't watch any soccer yesterday, but maybe the gaffer did. Did you watch some soccer?
Oh my gosh, yeah! I watched everything. I mean, that's the thing. I was looking at it yesterday with the Euros. It's effectively from 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock at night, and then starting today with Copa America is from 5 o'clock till about 10 o'clock at night. So from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. every single day, I'm just watching back to back games. So I'm feeling good right now, but I think by the end of these 2 tournaments, I'm going to be like I don't know, a zombie. But
soccer burnout.
Oh yeah, totally. But it's a good way to live. You know what I mean? It's my job. I mean, really, at the end of the day, my job is to watch soccer games and watch the television coverage.
So let's talk about your job and your website a little bit. You know, so I know your website. I don't know. Was it always kind of focusing on cord cutting and kind of where to stream and all that stuff? But that's what it's morphed into, right?
Yeah, it morphed into. So like 15 years ago, it started as a blog. It was just like writing about everything from Miami Fusion to, Premier League to La Liga, you name it. And in the last 5 years, I went from basically I got laid off for my day job, and I said, screw it, I'm just going to go ahead and make this my full-time job. And so the last five or 6 years, it's been my full-time profession. And in the last 5 or 6 years, streaming's really taken off. And we've always had on the website, we've always had TV schedules. In the last 5 years or so, with the amount of streaming options, with the ever-changing television schedules, that's become my full-time job. Is kind of I have a team of people that are updating all the schedules for all the games from around the world, and a lot of it is talking about streaming. A lot of it is talking about cord cutting and Paramount Plus and ESPN Plus and MLS and the next TV deal.
Right.
We've got podcasts. So it ends up being all consuming. So that's all we're talking about is the TV coverage and the streaming coverage. So yeah, it morphed.
Yeah, I find that a great resource because like I cut the cord. I don't know. It feels like forever ago. It's been a long time since I've had cable, and then for a while there were certain games I didn't watch because I didn't have access to them, and you cut the cord because you want to save some money. But now there's so many darn streaming services that you got to get in order to see. You're almost spending as much as you were if you were having cable, and maybe in some cases more. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I become the king of like the 7-day free trial. I mean, I've trialed Fubo like 3 times on different email addresses because Fubo is good, but it's expensive.
It is. It is very expensive. I mean, it's essentially the same as cable,
right?
It's maybe a little bit cheaper depending on what plan you have, the Comcast or whoever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. I mean, one of the benefits of streaming is a lot of those deals are month to month.
Right.
So you can't do a 30-day trial. Yeah, right. 30 days of say Fubo to watch Copa America and the Euros, and at the end of that you can say right, and then you cancel or switch to I don't know Paramount Plus or Sling TV.
Right.
So rather than being locked into a Comcast, subscription, a contract for a year, you've got a lot more flexibility.
And Ed, you've got some of these issues, right? I mean, do you have cable? Or are you streaming, or where are you at?
No, I'm streaming, or sometimes I'm doing the clandestine. Some things that I shouldn't be doing. But let me
pirating.
deviate a little bit. A guy on Twitter just wrote, it's easy, just get on ESPN Plus and Paramount Plus to watch the soccer games.
That's the biggest, the 2 biggest. Now, Paramount Plus, it's funny, came out of nowhere with huge soccer coverage. And I'll tell you, the way for me, I got lucky in that just before it became Paramount Plus, it was CBS All Access. And it was okay, it had a couple of it had Star Trek.
Star Trek, right?
Star Trek, and I'm a big nerd, so I love the Star Trek stuff. But I you know what I would do? Whenever I would go to Colombia, Star Trek is actually on Netflix in Colombia. So I would watch it whenever I go to Colombia, and I wouldn't get CBS All Access. But I saw it popped up across my, I don't know, Facebook, somewhere. It popped up on my radar that just before they became Paramount Plus, like literally like a week or 2 before, they had a deal where it was like half off. So you pay for the full year of CBS All Access, and you get it for the full year. It was like $30. Mm-hmm. So done. I did that knowing it was going to become Paramount Plus. I'm like, hey, even if it doesn't have much, what's $30? And now they've got everything.
But Peter, what about Disney Plus? Do you have Disney Plus?
Of course, I got
bundle?
that. I used to have the bundle for Disney Plus, but I dropped off Hulu because I wasn't watching it. So now I'm ESPN Plus and Disney Plus, and I dropped Hulu.
Yeah, and Hulu has some interesting things on there sometimes, but you can kind of go back and forth with it.
I mean, Handmaid's Tale is like the only thing on Hulu that I really watch.
Yeah, me too.
But as far as like football and soccer, it's like I've always liked following the Brazilian league, but it's always been a challenge, right? Because I don't speak Portuguese. Well, now guess what? It's on Paramount Plus, and there was I want to specifically watch Atlético Paranaense. They played today. Now, I didn't watch that game. I will watch it later. I didn't watch it because I was watching the Netherlands beat up on Ukraine in the Euros, which is also which is on ESPN. So, I mean, that's a little easier for people to catch. You can go to your local bar or whatever. Everybody's got ESPN for the most part. I've got ESPN Plus, so I've got that covered. But then I've also had to get Sling a little bit for a short period of time, so to bridge some of the gaps in some of this stuff. Yep. It's crazy.
Well, let's talk about the Euros since you brought it up, Peter. You saw the Netherlands game?
That game was fun. That was a good game, and I have Dutch heritage. That's why I spell my name a little weird. So I'm that would be the European team I would cheer for, even though I'm wearing a Spain shirt. But this was given to me. This was given to me as a gift. So I never bought a Holland shirt. I should. But I've never bought a Holland shirt. But did you catch that game, Christopher? That was an awesome game.
It was. It looked like it was going to be a comfortable Netherlands victory in that one, but then Yarmolenko for Ukraine had that long range thunderbolt, and then all of a sudden you kind of thought, okay, that maybe this is over. I mean, maybe maybe Ukraine can bounce back and actually win this game. But 2-2, and then Holland scores the late winner to make it 3-2. But yeah, no, it's actually been a really good game. Good weekend. I mean, you had the Christian Eriksen, unfortunately, the medical emergency yesterday, which was really, really, really bad. I mean, really freak accident. But no, yeah, today with the Netherlands, and then England beating Croatia, and then and then Austria beating North Macedonia. It's it's perfect timing.
Yeah, I mean, you're originally from Wales, right? Did they play? Are they in this thing?
Yeah. So Wales plays Saturday against Switzerland and won 1-0. So actually, no. I'm sorry. It was a tie. It was a 1-1 tie.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was gonna say. I don't watch them.
What kind of chance do they have? What do you think?
I'm not big on them. I'm not big on them as far as their chances go. I think they'll get through to the next round, but it's really difficult. I mean, to me, I actually prefer the Euros than the World Cup. Just because with the World Cup, sometimes it's bloated. Sometimes you have the number of teams there. I mean, some of them are pretty like minnows or weaker teams. But with the Euros, I think it's really, really more condensed and kind of some of the tougher teams. So, but yeah.
I mean, I think they're fun, but I definitely enjoy the World Cup a lot more just because you've got more variety. You've got more variety of countries, and you've got your South Americans and all that kind of stuff. That's a lot of fun, and of course the U.S. But yeah, the Euros definitely are fun. And it's funny is it snuck up on me. I didn't even realize they were starting, and then Ed started saying something about we could talk about the Euros tonight. I'm like, I don't know. And then I saw, then I saw that there was a game on today. I'm like, well, let me go watch that game while I'm chilling by the pool. Let me throw on the game. But it was definitely a lot of fun. But it was. How do you think? Going back to kind of the streaming thing, how do you think like Paramount Plus is doing with the soccer properties?
Yeah, it's really taking over really because so they picked up the Champions League, they picked up the Europa League. They also picked up Serie A for Italy for next season. They have the CONCACAF Nations League, which includes a lot of the U.S. men's national team qualifiers.
Yep.
So it seems like they're very interested in Major League Soccer and also the Premier League. So it could be within about a year from now, we might have Paramount Plus and ESPN Plus as the two main streaming providers. And then a lot of smaller ones, other ones. So they're doing great.
Paramount Plus is pretty much putting like beIN Sports out of business. It looks like.
Yeah. I mean, beIN Sports has the French league, and that's about it. I mean, so yeah. I mean, if Messi joins PSG, they'll have Messi in the French league, but that's unlikely. But still.
But I thought Messi was joining Inter Miami.
I don't know. It can happen. It's crazy when you think about it, but Messi seems to be like really fixated on moving to Miami. It just seems that way. I don't know if you saw that deal he did with Hard Rock Hotels.
No, I'm not aware of that. No, wow. I'm not aware of that. Tell us about that?
Yeah, so what happened this week is that Hard Rock, I guess the Seminole Hard Rock Casino, the big guitar off the side of the turnpike, did a deal with Messi that Messi's going to be their ambassador. And I guess it's going to be 50 years of the Hard Rock brand. And Messi is kind of the is announced a deal. So they're going to have like merchandise. They're going to have T-shirts with his picture on it and Messi on the back and the Hard Rock Hotel logo. So it's very, very much like a Miami thing. I mean, it just seems to be
that sounds like it's destined to happen. I mean, there's talk about this 10-year deal that he's going to sign, and that 2 years of that 10-year deal are for playing with Inter Miami. And Jorge Mas recently came out saying that they have had conversations. So I mean, wow, that I didn't realize that deal. I mean, that could it would even then make sense to maybe see the Hard Rock on the front of Inter Miami jersey. I mean, they're currently on the front of Tampa Bay Rowdies. But
yeah, yeah,
I don't know, because there's a Hard Rock in Tampa. That's why.
But I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I think that this could happen. At first, it seemed like a crazy idea. I'm not sure in terms of like kind of the MLS and the salary cap, how they'd be able to get Messi in and be able to afford to pay him. And then I don't know what the rest of the team would look like.
Well, I mean, he'd be a designated player, so he as far as his hit to the team, it'd be no different than Higuain. Right, no different. So the deal, it's more to me like less to do with Messi and Inter Miami. It's Messi and MLS, and MLS bending over backwards to make the deal happen. No different than what they did for David Beckham. So, you know, because there's talk about this what was that figure, Ed, that he was supposed to be making how many?
Like $73 million
a year, something like that.
A year, yeah.
Right, in his contract.
That's nuts.
Right, so you can't expect Jorge Mas to put up that kind of money for one player. That's ridiculous. But they could, you know, get creative like they did with Beckham and give him merchandising, or what they did, you know, with
merchandising.
Yeah, or what they did with.
What movie is that from?
I don't know.
Spaceballs.
I love that movie. Mm-hmm. It's been a long time though. So, how do you think? I mean, what do you think, Ed, that they would have to do to sweeten that deal up?
Oh man, no, I think it's doable, but you know, especially if they ask Masa-san for a loan. I mean, he's one of the owners of the team. He definitely has a lot of money, so. For him, it's probably like, you know, change. So, you know, they can maybe have him, you know, sponsor SoftBank in some way, and you know, they'll make their money, I think, off of jerseys and stuff like that.
Not going to make $73 million off of it.
Well, I don't know about $73 million, but I know a lot of people are going to want to buy him. So, you know, there's got to be ways, man, for them to bring him. And I think, but $73 million is a lot of money. That's just crazy. It's unheard of. I think the most anybody's ever been paid is I think it was Zlatan, right? He got like $7 million,
something like that.
So wow, that'll be a record that won't be broken for a while.
It'd be weird though to have Messi playing at the Drive Pink Stadium. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a temporary stadium. I mean, ideally, he'd be able to open up the new stadium near the airport.
That's what I was going to say. I think they're going to wait for him to show up to open up that stadium.
Wow.
If it happens.
Okay, but okay, and let's we could touch on that a little bit. There is some movement on the stadium. So, you know, they're talking about, Mas has said that by the end of June that he will have something they will have something in front of the commissioners to vote on. So they said they're close to being done. Now, I mean, we constantly are hearing 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and we'll be done. So until it's actually in front of them and they vote on, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But he's saying that they've got hundreds of lawyers' hours in, and that they're getting close. But even saying that, the stadium's not going to be built in 2 years, I don't think. I mean, they got to do a massive cleanup because of the soil problems that they have. So it's going to probably take more than 2 years. So Messi, if he comes to Inter Miami, is playing in Fort Lauderdale. And I know it's a temporary stadium, but it's as good, if not better, than some of the other stadiums in MLS currently. I mean, I've heard it compared to the San Jose Earthquake Stadium, and that's their permanent stadium. It's our temporary stadium, and it's apparently very similar.
It's a shame though too with Hard Rock Stadium, right? With the Dolphins, if Messi's has done this deal with Hard Rock, you've got this massive stadium that's not that far away. I mean, that to me would be the ideal place to play temporarily until. Well, you've already got a temporary stadium, but I don't know, for Messi's kind of introduction to Miami, having him play there.
I'm pretty sure they'll be able to fill it, at least for the first few games. And if he scores, even more, but I'm sure the rent's going to be high.
They could do some event games there, but they're not, you know, clearly they're not going to, you know, they're going to play majority of their games in their stadium. But I could see them doing some event type games there, like his first game.
Right.
You know,
yeah, because we saw the Fusion play at the Orange Bowl a couple of times.
Twice, yeah. I remember they played against the Metro Stars once, and then I don't
Tim
remember
Howard.
Right, I remember that game. I don't remember who the other game was. Was it the Columbus Crew?
Crew.
I think it might have been the Crew. That's when they gave out that T-shirt. You've got that T-shirt, Ed, don't you?
I've got it somewhere around there. Yeah, I know my dad's got it in Ecuador because he wore it the other day, and I was like, Dad, you still have that shirt? And I forgot to take a picture of it, but I'll look it up. If I don't have it still, I'm sure my dad's got it because I saw him wearing it the other day.
Hey guys in the chat, I mean, if you guys want to get into this conversation, you want to throw out a question for us three, please do so. I'm looking at the chat here and there, but it looks like you guys are mostly talking amongst yourselves. But if you have a question you want to jump in, please do so. But also remember, you can call 786-474-4435 and leave a voicemail, and I'll constantly look and check and see if we have any new ones, but we don't. So do that if you want to jump into the conversation. But, you know, you're touching on the Fusion, and something that I did not know, but One World, One Goal said you got engaged, or was it engaged at a Fusion halftime show?
Yeah, I proposed to my then girlfriend. It would have been 2001. It was Miami Fusion against Tampa Bay. And at halftime at Lockhart, they had like a trivia contest. Yeah, have people come on the field, you know, answer trivia questions and win like a T-shirt or something. But what my wife did, well, my now wife, but my girlfriend didn't know is that for months I've been planning this thing with the Fusion head office. And so she ran on the field with me to answer a trivia question. And I got the microphone and I proposed to her right there on bended knee, right in the center circle at Lockhart. It was about 11,000 fans that night. Mm-hmm. And then she said, I do, tackled me. And then we did like a lap of honor around the field and high-fiving everyone. So yeah, I proposed and got engaged that night and then have been happily married ever since.
Well, I mean, you must know who played that game then, right? What was the game and what was the score and all that?
I think it was Miami Fusion won 3-1. I was a 3-2. It was one of the best games we ever played.
You have to remember that.
Scored. It was on TV. Shakon had a great game. Shaka Khan, as I used to call him. But no, I think we won 3-1. That was during the time where Ray Hudson had the team just really playing some really tiki taka. That last season, which was the best season ever.
That was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fans kept on coming back, and actually the number of fans coming each game kept on growing. And I remember too. I mean, the fans were really getting into it and chanting. It was a great atmosphere. I mean, one of the best teams. I've had the fortune to witness.
Yeah,
we won.
Yeah, I imagine I was at that game because I didn't miss many games. I didn't have season tickets, but I would buy one at a time every game.
You were probably getting a rapers at halftime or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. You know, it's funny is you got engaged at the Fusion match, but I was dating my wife at that year, and she was living in Orlando, so she wasn't going to games or anything. And I was telling her, all right, well, until we get married, you know, you're going to go to these games. This is part of who I am. You know, you're gonna have to enjoy the soccer. This comes with me, and you're going to enjoy it. You know, you're Brazilian. You got to love soccer and all that. And then we get, you know, just before we get married. I mean, we got married in December, and I think they shut the team down in December. I think it was the same month.
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
that was heartbreaking. Dun, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, not to go too far back into the past, but that was just a horrible experience because we never had a chance to say goodbye to the team.
Right.
I mean, it was okay. They said, okay, the team's done, and that's it. And the players had gone. I mean, there was just a sad ending, really.
One World, One Goal is asking, what is your favorite Fusion memory?
Oh, it has to be that.
It has to be that,
I mean,
right? It better be.
Yeah, but
can your wife hear this? Is she in the other room? I mean, you better answer
she's
that.
in the other room. she'll probably watch it tomorrow. But I mean, that was in terms of that. I mean, in my mind, I mean, we have 3 kids now. I mean, it was a great experience. Sure. Something we'll never forget. But as far as the actual game experience with the Fusion, that's a good question. I think it would. Actually, I think it was the first game. I mean, we lost it against DC United. The very first game that Fusion played. Mm-hmm. I mean, we didn't know if it was going to be a sellout or not, and there was lines for miles. I mean, and I was crying. I was in tears, just like tears of joy. Finally, professional soccer had arrived in South Florida, And
I
to
remember
me,
it.
that
I
was
remember that
my
game.
most memorable.
I was there
Yeah.
too. I was there.
That game was nuts because there was like no. I mean, there people were getting turned away and people were mad.
Because everybody thinks they could just walk up. It's South Florida. It's the home of the walk up. So everybody just thinks they
Right.
could just walk up and just come on in. And that wasn't the case. You
everything-
better buy your tickets in advance.
Yeah, because
was,
I know
I
there was traffic jams on 95, getting off at Commercial, and I was at the top of the bleachers at Lockhart, looking down, and I could see long lines of walk up. People just trying to get in, and it was sold out. I mean, there was no space available at all.
Nice. All right. Well, we
Good
have
old days.
we have a voicemail that we're gonna play here. I don't know what it is. It didn't. Sometimes it transcribes the voicemail, but this one it didn't do it. So let's give it a shot. See what this is.
Fam. Damn. This is Uncle Ted from Miami, Florida. No, Coral Gables, Florida. No, Coconut Creek, wherever I live, whatever. So my favorite Fusion memory, because I'm listening to this gaffer talk about the Fusion, is when my favorite Fusion memory. Why is Ed texting people right now during the show, by the way? Anyway, my favorite
I was texting him.
memory is eating arepas with Ed at the games back in 2000 and 2001. And let's see, if I remember specifically, the best game was when they beat the Kansas City Wizards 5-1. I actually remember that game pretty well. I remember Preki scored a rocket goal. Diego Serna scored. I remember that. And Alex Pineda-Chacon scored. Anyway, that's all I got for now. I'll have more next week. I have a lot of Fusion memories, actually, but that's for another day, for another time. Forza Inter Miami.
Oh, okay. I thought he was going to continue talking about Inter Miami there for a second.
Sounded like it. Yeah, I thought he was
Yeah.
going to keep going, but he just gave up on us there.
So he said, question. I don't know if, I don't expect Christopher to know the answer to this, but maybe Ed, you do. Is it he said arepa. Is it arepa or arepa? How do you say it?
Arepa.
Arepa.
Yeah.
Say it's
Arepa.
So you said it wrong.
Yeah.
He loves them so much, but he doesn't say it right.
I know. That's kind of weird, having had so much experience with arepas. Arepas. See, when I say it in English, it sounds different.
Isn't it arepa?
Yeah. There you go.
That's what I thought.
You pronounce the R better than I do.
It's all my trips to Colombia, right?
Yeah.
But
it's funny because at the stadium when we went this last time, there was actually there was a little cart there that was selling arepas.
It was like a food truck type thing, right? They got a bunch of food truck type things at the stadium, inside the stadium. So it's pretty good setup. That's the one thing, Christopher. You've got to come down and check out Inter Miami. I love the fact that you bought the shirt. You got so you've got to make a trip down to South Florida and come back to Drive Pink Stadium and get yourself an arepa.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to bringing the family down in July and meeting up with everyone and hoping that the actual playing on the field gets a little better in terms of how this team's working together. But I have a lot of kind of I guess confidence in Phil Neville that he'll be able to turn this team around. But I think he's learning on the job here.
Okay, so there's been a lot of people that are pretty upset about Phil Neville. I mean, if you read the comments across any social media, everybody's ready to fire him. Why do you have so much confidence in Phil Neville, and maybe try to convince some of the Inter Miami fans of why they should have confidence in Phil Neville?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I think in many ways, if you've listened to any of the press conferences, he seems genuine. He has a lot of experience. This is somebody who played under Sir Alex Ferguson, learned from Sir Alex Ferguson, and went on to Everton, and was under David Moyes. So comes from a good kind of background in terms of the way to coach teams, the way to manage players. He seems like a genuine guy in terms of wanting this team to succeed. I think he will do well. I think he's still trying to figure out which players to put in which positions, and I think the back four is. I think that's you can look at the whole team really, but at the back four especially, I think he's still tinkering with that. And then I think with Pizarro being out, I mean Higuain kind of dropping back. I don't know. Overall, though, I think with Phil Neville, I think he can improve things. And there's been bits and pieces that we've seen this season that started off looking better than under Diego Alonso. So I think he can do it.
I would agree that we look better than last year, but he doesn't. I mean, I want him to succeed, and I feel like more confident with him than I did with Alonso. But yet, when you look at his, he doesn't have a great track record, and he doesn't have a ton of experience as the head coach. Yeah, he's got some good pedigree, but he hasn't really shown that he's done it. And everybody talks and complains about our defense, but for me, what bugs me the most is our midfield, because the midfield doesn't do anything, and that puts undue pressure on the defense. I mean, Matuidi has been a huge disappointment this year.
Yeah, I think Gregory has been fantastic.
He's been good.
Matuidi, I think, actually the first game when Matuidi played, the first game this season against the team from LA, I think the LA, what was it, LA? No, LA Galaxy, right?
Galaxy.
Yeah. I thought Matuidi did well in that game, but since then he's kind of, I don't know. It's still, definitely Matuidi's kind of dropped off from what he was doing last season, but I know you're not a big fan of him from last season either. But Gregory, maybe, I don't know. So, but yeah, and then up front, I mean, there's been a lot of injury problems too, right? With Robinson, and you go down the list. So,
and we got the frustration of Higuain. He's come in here to score goals, but yet, I mean, hasn't really done so convincingly. Sure, he's got a few, but
he's got 4.
Yeah, but are you
highest
excited
scorer
about
in our
those?
team?
Okay, yeah, you say that,
and one of the highest scorers in the league right now too.
Okay,
I think the highest is
all right, Ed. But
right now.
Okay, you can throw his stats, but when you watch him, are you convinced that he's the guy?
No, I'm not. I'm not convinced at all.
Stats. He looks like a bum out there. The funny thing is sit next to my wife and listen to her complain about Higuain. I mean, she has zeroed in on him, and just the entire time. And she, at the last home game, she was sitting on the end of our row. We had a row of people. She's sitting on the end. She ends up becoming a buddy with this other guy. And the two of them become friends about their hatred towards Higuain.
They were doing a lot of hate back. Yeah, I remember that.
Because and I'm with you. I think you mentioned earlier, Christopher, that he's more of a number 10. He will be the number 10 before, in the next few weeks, I think. Before I was saying the end of the season, but I think in the next couple of weeks, he's going to be the number 10.
Oh, he doesn't have the speed anymore. If you guys noticed, they threw a couple long balls to him. He just could not.
He couldn't do it in that last game. I mean, I forgot the player's name, but I had Googled him during the game, and I remembered he made $175,000. That kind of jumped out at me. But he couldn't keep up. But he is a good passer of the ball, so he could definitely he could definitely do okay as a number 10. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one thing the other thing I like about Phil Neville too is that he does seem to be giving the youth a chance. So Azcona, I think, has been great. I mean, anytime he's come on the field, he's actually contributed. I think he could actually be kind of a future star for us. I think he's doing really, really well.
Yeah, I mean, Neville's definitely got the company memo of youth. Youth is our future, the academy and everything like that. He's definitely got, he's obviously bought into the same kind of philosophy that Beckham has, which is, it's important since he's one of the owners, so they're definitely willing to, bring in, the youth and give them a shot, even if it's just coming off the bench. So that's for sure. And that's good to see, because you definitely didn't see that with Alonso last year. And it seemed like there might be a bit of a disconnect.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too is that Lewis Morgan, still good, but not as good as last year. And I think he's playing slightly different role. I think last year, we relied on him so much down that right wing. Lately, he seems to be kind of playing more, he's tucked in quite a bit, more central. But still a great player, but hasn't had the impact that he had last year.
I always wonder when a player has a really good season, Is it, and then the next season there's a drop off? Is it him, or is it just that the league figured him out?
I think the league figured him out because last year he was a relatively an unknown entity.
Right.
I mean, we knew how good he was, right? But by the end of the season, I think everyone else in MLS caught on too.
All right. I think there was a question in here that, taking it back to the Miami Fusion, asking, and this could be for all of us, when did you realize that Fusion were in trouble as far as folding? I mean, I think it was sometime in the middle of that season you started to hear rumbles that there was a possibility of some contraction. But I remember what I had heard was that their teams were gonna get folded, and that was it Phil Anschutz was gonna save. Was between saving the Fusion or saving the Earthquakes, and he saved the Earthquakes. The Earthquakes knocked us out of the first round of the playoffs, and therefore you got to save Landon Donovan's team. That's what I recall, but I don't know if I'm right. That's just my old memory.
Yeah. I think same with me too. I think I was probably reading stuff in the newspaper. Probably Jeff Rusnak writing about that there was talks behind the scenes that game going into that San Jose game, that playoff game, was whoever would lose that game effectively could probably be done. And it was a really, I remember that night especially, the Fusion didn't play as well as they normally did, and I remember Landon Donovan having a good game, and just walking out of there at the end of that game, just feeling like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? Is this the end? But yes, same as you.
Walking away, I remember walking away from that game, disappointed and saying, wow, we should have been champions. We should have, this was our time to be champions, and we didn't win. And I had like this gut feeling like it was the last time I was going to see them play. And sure enough, no matter what we tried, I remember we even did like a little protest outside of the Lockhart Stadium with signs. There's pictures of me on, I think, the Sun Sentinel or whatever, with holding up signs saying, save the Fusion, but it never happened. So, it was a heartbreaker. But I think, like Peter, we had heard, I think it was around midseason that there was a possibility the team was going to fold, and Ken Horowitz couldn't find another partner or whatever, and I think he didn't have deep enough pockets, and that was it.
He didn't have deep enough pockets to withstand the lean years. Those were the lean years of MLS. I mean, that was when they're right on that edge of, are they going to make it or not? And so, I mean, when you look at the league, it was, I guess, the right business move to contract the two teams, because they became a much stronger league over time. So I guess if you look back, it was the right decision. But it was painful as a fan. Here's a question that's not MLS related, but you being more European and all that, and we know you follow all that stuff. Anu Weissman he's one of our fans from Atlanta. He says there's a rumor that Tyler Adams could make the move to Arsenal. What do you think? Also, do you think that DK will make a move out of Orlando?
Wow, some good questions. Some transfer stories.
Yeah.
So, I've heard the same thing about Tyler Adams, that Arsenal is interested in him. I mean, he's a fantastic player, and I think it's when he does play for the U.S. national team, it makes a huge difference. I haven't heard anything more than probably what he's heard, but definitely there's interest there. And actually at Arsenal, I think they're missing that type of playmaker. And Tyler Adams is young. I think he would excel in that role. DK, I think I don't know. I'd love for him to stay in Major League Soccer. I mean, I think he could go back to Europe and play for a club. But the one thing about Daryl DK is that towards the end of that season at Barnsley, I think once everyone figured out what type of player he was, they kind of shut him down. They were able to stop him from scoring goals in the championship playoff semifinal. So I think in many ways, I think his best bet is to play in Major League Soccer and try to be that number 9 for the U.S. men's national team, because we need a striker. I don't think Josh Sargent is it, and I think DK could actually probably just rip up MLS. And I mean, unfortunately, it's Orlando, right? But
and I shake my head because we had 2 opportunities to take DK, and we said, eh. But that was
Paul McDonough,
the AKA
Tubby.
Tubby.
Yeah.
And actually, One World, One Goal wants to ask a question about that. Asking what your thoughts. Chris Henderson is if you think that Chris Henderson is a big improvement over Tubby with Neville.
It couldn't get much worse, I don't think.
I mean, Chris Henderson has proven track record with Seattle within this league.
Yeah, no, I think he's got a tough job, right? I mean, he's got come in to kind of clean up after McDonough. I'm sure. I mean, so far so good, but we're not hearing too much scandals behind the scenes. I mean, things seem to be pretty straightforward, and then hopefully we'll bounce back from this in terms of all the penalties we've been given from MLS as far as the fines and everything. But if anyone is there who can help us find those young players. And then Gregory was his signing, right? I think, and he's been fantastic.
He wanted to sign him as a DP back in Seattle, so the fact that we didn't pay DP money for him is actually, we got a good deal. The fact that they had to, they waited a little bit, but he was targeting him for years. So
yeah.
I'm curious if because this whole Matuidi scandal and all, it had been going on for a while before it was made public. I'm sure inner circles of MLS knew about it. I'm curious if Chris Henderson knew about what kind of thing he was getting into when he signed on with Inter Miami. Was he aware that he was going to be dealing with some penalties and things like that, and really having to seriously clean up a mess, not just some poor draft decisions or poor signings, but some illegal type stuff, which, reading more about it, I read a big article on it in The Athletic, and just talking about how every team does it. This is just normal operating procedure. It's just that he got busted. But I'm curious if Chris knew about this.
We got caught, yeah.
What do you think? Do you think Chris knew coming in? Do you think that's something that they would have disclosed?
It's a small world within Major League Soccer, and especially kind of. So I think that I'm sure that they knew there were things going on, but maybe he didn't realize how bad it was in terms of all the rules we broke. So I think he knew that it was going to be a tough job anyway, but maybe he didn't realize it was going to be this difficult.
Yeah, now is definitely the time to lean on that youth that we were talking about, like as Kona, because when you're getting hit with $2 million less,
right?
To in your TAM money or GAM or whatever money it was.
I guess in a way though too. I mean, we are kind of blessed with South Florida having so many good youth squads, academies, players. So if they can do a really good job of scouting, I mean, South Florida's got so many great players. So.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, I wanted to touch on this. I asked you about this in our chat beforehand. This is since your website, you talk a lot about TV contracts, TV deals, and you guys have, I've seen some of your podcasts. You review some of the streaming services, whether it be NBC, how they handle Premier League or whatever. But there's a lot of fans that are Inter Miami fans that maybe are new to MLS and all that, and they get frustrated that they live in West Palm Beach. Right.
Yeah.
So they are not in the local market, so they don't get CBS4, so they can't watch the game. But they, according to ESPN Plus, they are in the market, so they can't watch it on ESPN Plus either. So they're kind of screwed, and they got to watch it on the app, which is not necessarily the best viewer experience, I guess. I thought maybe you could talk a little bit about some of these MLS contracts in that, what Inter Miami, some of these fans are yelling at the owners and this and that. And I think every team in MLS goes through the same exact nonsense.
Yeah, definitely. So on the website, we often get similar type of emails or comments on the website, and people saying like, hey, I live outside, I don't know, Chicago, or wherever it is, and I'm not able to see my team's games because I'm within that boundary. But yeah, absolutely. As far as South Florida, the way it is right now is that the end of the 2022 season. So for Major League Soccer, the end of December 31st, 2022, the current contract will end, And then from then onwards, there'll be a new deal. But the new deal will combine all the local rights. So kind of your local CBS or whichever channel it may be nationwide showing those local games, as well as the national package. So the companies that will be bidding on those, so Paramount Plus, I mean, CBS Sports effectively, ESPN, maybe HBO, maybe HBO Max. There's been talk about Apple TV, so on and so forth. There's a lot of companies that are interested in getting into the streaming space and getting more Major League Soccer, more soccer really. So those local deals would be combined with the national deals. So say ESPN Plus was able to go ahead and do a deal to get most of the rights to those games. They could then make those available nationally. It wouldn't necessarily be kind of a local issue where if you're in West Palm Beach and you can't see that game, like today, you could go ahead and watch that on ESPN Plus no matter where you were nationally. So that's one thing. So there's hope for the future where with the streaming that will resolve the issue where the local broadcast won't be an issue. You might have national broadcasts and a lot of those would be streaming. But the other solution too, I mean, and this is something that somebody, if you do live in West Palm Beach, as one example, there's a thing called VPNs, virtual private networks. Some of them are free and you can subscribe to those. And actually, when you log in, it's an extra level of security for your computer, but you can actually say, hey, I'm in Miami right now. And you can actually go ahead and, maybe I'm not in Miami, maybe I'm in New York City and I want to watch this game on ESPN Plus that's into Miami against whoever. So there's ways around it. I mean, it stinks that you even have to go down that path.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to be, some kind of computer guru to figure this stuff out, right? Because your average guy may not know what the heck a VPN is or how to use it or why do I have to jump through all these hoops in order to watch the game? And what ends up happening is they blame the team. They blame, Inter Miami, screw you. You don't want me as a fan. I'm done with you. I mean, I see these comments. And then, when we talk on this show and we have viewers on this channel from Toronto, from Atlanta, from several MLS cities, and they all say, we go through the same thing. It's the same issues every. But something is we've heard that that they're renewing their media rights and all that, and that they've told teams to kind of pause on any new deals and stuff like that because they do want to bundle. But I never really thought about how it could end up bundling in a way to where you're not even, there is maybe no local CBS4. It's all on one streaming platform. I never really thought about it, or multiple streaming platforms because, currently MLS is on multiple channels. I would imagine they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket. They probably still want to keep them in a few different baskets.
Yeah. And right now, I think ESPN, Fox, and Univision, the companies that do have the current deals nationally, have an opportunity. They're in talks right now with Major League Soccer about possibly renewing those deals. But then after, basically in August, then it'll be opened up for any other broadcasters who are interested. But yeah, the local thing is really something. I mean, because if you're a soccer fan, say you're a fan of Manchester United, or you're a fan of Barcelona from Ecuador. I mean, there's no local issue, right? You just you say, hey, I want to watch Manchester United. I'm going to subscribe to P.
Uh-oh. We froze on.
We kind of lost
it. Well, let's see if he comes back. Well, we're near the end of the show, anyways. But Ed, I did. Hang on, let me change our camera angle to just the two of us then, and we'll see if he gets back in. I was actually what was first off, Kata thought maybe you were asleep, Ed.
Oh no, yeah, it's because you guys were talking about everything, and especially about the channels or whatever. I can't, the gaffer knows everything about that. So,
and I find that stuff super interesting. I find it super interesting. All that kind of, to me, sometimes. The game behind the game is sometimes more fun. So, a lot of that stuff I find super, super interesting. But, I lost my train of thought. I was, you know, but I'm curious the MLS's, ratings have not been stellar. They've never been amazingly great. And so I'm curious in how much more can they get moving forward. And I know they definitely want to lean on streaming a lot because they're talking about their demographic is young. Like, we're not really the people they're targeting, Ed. It's not us.
Right. They're targeting the kids, and that's the future. And I think
they're not getting
that's
cable.
Why they also, that's why I know. I think that's why they want to secure a person like Messi, where all the kids are growing up and they want to see something like that. So that's where they can make a deal for money. That's something we totally forgot about talking about earlier when we were talking about Messi coming to Miami. Major League Soccer needs a big name like that that's going to, put people to watch the games. And, they're going to get butts in that stadium, and they're going to get people. They're going to get eyes in TV. So, one of those streaming apps is going to make a lot of money, because of that. And Major League Soccer potentially has that same right. Hopefully, they'll also get Ronaldo over here, and then we'll have a rivalry going.
We're really reaching.
I think it was you that said that. Why don't you bring him over to Orlando, since you're an Orlando fan? Imagine that rivalry with Inter Miami.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun. But I would not want Orlando to get a player of his caliber, though. That's the problem. He's still a good player, even if he's getting old. He's still a good player. Yeah. I don't want him playing against what could become our rival someday.
Right.
They're definitely not. We're not rivals yet because we're no good. And we've won a couple games. Well, a game, I think we won. Yeah. But anyways. Well, we got the interview got cut short a little bit, but we were right up against the end of the show. So, I think we could talk to Christopher for hours. I mean, he's a great conversation, and I find, like I said, the streaming stuff super, super interesting. But that's about it. Thanks so much for everybody that was chatting and involved with the show today. We did it a little bit different. I mean, we talked to the chat a little bit, but we definitely got back to the old ways, Ed, when we used to do interviews.
Yeah.
But this time it was less of an interview, more of just bringing in a friend and making him part of the show, and that was a lot of fun. And
talking about the good old times and when he got married and
wow, yeah, how about
all
that?
That good stuff. So yeah.
All right, so make sure if go to worldsoccertalk.com. That is Christopher's website, worldsoccertalk.com. Even if you have cable and you know where to find your stuff, I mean, you go to his website on the homepage, the very first page you're going to see, you'll see the games for that day. Right now, it's still loaded up. It's got Sunday, and it shows every game that you could see in this country, and it tells you where you can watch it, whether it be on ESPN, Fubo, Sling, Hulu, Vidgo, whatever that is, Prende TV. I mean, there's things I never even heard of. And so it's a really good resource. So go to his website and check out his resource and use it. And he's got podcasts and things like that our old friend Kartik Krishnaiyer is a part of that as well. So go and support him for us. And as you see on the screen, please go support Caneswear. Ed, that pretty much wraps it up.
Guys, and also support us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Futbol Miami TV. We're on all the podcast channels. You can look us up. We're on Apple TV and all that good stuff, right? You know more than I do, Peter.
It's not Apple TV, but it's Apple Podcasts.
Oh, it's Apple
Podcasts.
Yeah, something like that. See, I'm one of the guys that doesn't know very much about these apps.
Right, and for me to tell you, in order to watch the game, you got to get a VPN. You might be like, a what?
Yeah, I've heard about VPNs.
I mean, a lot of people have heard about them, but do you know how to use it? And do you feel, is it the right thing to do? Is it like cheating the system? I don't know. I want to do the right thing, and I don't know if that's the right thing. But but why do I have to go through that extra step? That's the bigger question.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's a pain in the butt.
It is a pain in the butt. But I hear you. But anyways, thanks everybody for watching. And like Ed said, please like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.